Hello again and welcome back. What you're looking at here is my noise pollution overlay for my airport, my train station, and my substation. The reason, because I want to talk about noise pollution, in particular, something I found in the forum uh, for city skylines on the Steam network, and it's a misconception that I'd like to kind of fix before it goes too far, before too many people believe into it. Let's start here. Yeah, this was the post. This person has a forestry industry, and they want to know what you can build around it and what you can't. In particular, the incinerator, the ground pollution from the incinerator and generic industry. Does it bother the forestry industry? The answer is no. I've tested this myself, and the ground goes purple, the trees go brown, but other than that, no, you get the same amount of workers. I don't know if there's an output difference, but yeah, no, everything seems to be good. The next one here, commercial. Does the noise from forestry industry affect commercial? I'm going to say no. Basically, because when you're dealing with commercial, if you give them their ideal condition, you put them in areas of where there's a lot of traffic, not traffic jams, but they want to be seen. Residential wants quiet, so if you're going to put residential around the forestry industry, you got to leave a buffer zone. And some other people in this post, one person in particular suggested put a bike path as a perimeter, to limit your building. Keep it as a forest. I would keep it as a forest. But yeah, the bike thing is a great idea. But as for any type of zoning, nothing will affect the forestry industry. But the forestry industry, the only thing they will really affect is residential, because they won't like the noise. Somebody had posted, and yeah, you know who I'm talking to. And before I start into this, thank you, because this gives me another opportunity just to get more familiar with the mic and talking to an invisible audience kind of thing, and not sounding like I'm sounding now because I'm nervous. But yeah, they had stated that the agriculture and forestry does not make noise. This isn't true. It just isn't true. So my statement back was all industry makes noise. And this is what they posted afterwards. Sorry. Yes, it does make noise. It makes very little, and you can build across the street with barely any noise. Okay. Nothing that will cause issues unless you have heavy traffic, which will give you that issue anyways. But 90% plus 90% of the noise comes from traffic. That's news to me. And oh, if it was only true. Yeah, and that's the misconception I want to deal with, this whole thing. And the best way, well, I got to prove him wrong first, or I got to prove myself wrong. So I made a little experiment. I took the forestry, and I took the agriculture, and I put them beside each other, kind of, sort of. Well, here, let me show you what I did. Okay, so it's out here. Now, the one thing that made me disbelieve his claim was this area right here. This is one of my farm areas. The other farm area is out yonder. But this is my farm area. And when you look at this area under the noise map, it's rather noisy. And it doesn't appear that it's the traffic creating the noise. but it could be. It could be. So, yeah, let's go over here. So I did a little experiment. Very selectively, I took a piece of a plot of land that was away from everywhere else and put a 4 by, what is this, 20 strip of agriculture, another one here. Did this just to see, because that would be a cluster of more noise of whatever. Did the same thing over here. Let me show you. There we go. Now you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, I built this cluster. Now this is woodlands, like forestry, and this is agriculture. So the claim is that it's the traffic that's making all the noise. Doesn't look that way. Doesn't matter how I look at this. Whoops. Oh. To me, it's quite clear that the assets themselves, like that's not being very noisy. I agree. Well, it's changing. But these assets are noisy. These assets are noisy. These assets are noisy. Collectively, they're creating a bigger noise. The noise dissipates when they use the common road. Not the traffic that's making the noise. Now in contrast, just to see what is what, I built over here commercial. A little bit of high density commercial, but mainly low density commercial. Low density commercial pollutes less than industry. Right? Now, the high density commercial is a different story. But because, I mean, yeah, there's a little pollution in here, but the buildings themselves are loud. But that pollution is not carrying like a big cloud around it. Now, mind you, if I would bet that if I, went further this way with the commercial, or made this cluster even bigger, then yeah, it would finally leave a darker patch on the ground. But like industry does. But when it comes to forestry, oh yeah, it's clearly noisy. There's no denying that. Yeah, it's those birds. Clearly it's the birds. So, yeah, no, it's not the traffic that's making the noise in forestry. It's